Hi guys, today going to be making a post-apocalyptic diorama. And to start with, just getting some bits of styrofoam, some foam core, and some sheets of wonderful insulation. And then gluing them together into a cube. I'm thinking there's going to be a section of broken road in the middle, and then a guy walking along it with some big horrible evil monsters underneath the road. And the kind of arid, radioactive wasteland, the kind you get in Fallout or Stalker, or any of those good things. So, printed out some horrible monsters, and then started carving some wholesome to live in. So I modelled up some giant mutant spiders, but they only have 4 legs, and I guess that's why they're mutants. I cut a section of the insulation out above the pits, because I was playing around with the idea of having a kind of functional component that you could place in and out depending on how you wanted it to look. But I eventually go back and glue it in later. But it still kind of looks a bit like a trapdoor effect, like you get with some spiders. And I frequently dry fitted it to make sure the hole's big enough for the 2 spiders. Then, with both of the spider pits functional, I moved on to making the broken road. So, grabbing a piece of the insulation board, just tear it up with my fingers so get some nice cracks, and then lightly bevel the edges so there's a gap in between them. And then give them some light texture with a tinfoil ball rolled over them. Now this styrofoam doesn't hold texture as well, but it does still get some imparted onto it. And it really helps at this point to keep the pieces as you tear them up in the right shape, just so you can keep the shape of the road when you glue it on top. I then used a few styrofoam offcuts as loose rocks and debris. I then mixed up some sculptor mold to give the entire thing a bit more strength and texture. And I will go over the entire thing, including the sides with this, just not the back of the piece where it's still quite hollow. I also avoided putting in the cracks because I wanted to keep that deep recession. And I didn't put too much in the spider holes at the back because they're going to be hard to see, and it's fine if that just looks like smooth earth. I did, however, use it on the sides to give the piece a bit more strength and to fill the gaps between the foam core and the styrofoam where they were stuck together. I then trimmed some pieces of plasticard, as well as glued back in the trapdoor holes above the spiders. I've not glued the spiders in yet, I'm just keeping them loose so I can put them in and out for the painting. And then gluing the pieces of plasticard to be kind of scrap metal or bits of the barrier on the side of the road that had collapsed long ago. I then mixed up some basing paste, so this is a mixture of flock, PVA and black gesso. I find that the cork flock is the best for this, and I use 2 grades, a finer one and a slightly coarser one. And about 2 scoopfuls of black gesso is normally enough to give the entire thing a dark grey tint. And that just makes it a lot easier for painting later, because you don't have to worry about getting every crack or crevice. I then smeared it all over the piece, on the front, the sides, and on the top where I wanted there to be turf. And only going a little ways in on the front of the spider holes, because you're not going to see that much at the back. But you can use it to fill the gaps around the trapdoor and around where the scrap metal is. And you can use it to blend the side of the road where there's a slight elevation difference. Then, while that's still wet, grabbing a small handful of stones and poking them in with the back of my thumb. Then, once that's all dry, slapping on a layer of black gesso all over. And make sure you get in the crevices, because you do not want there to be a bright blue or green colour poking through there later, although it's easily fixed by adding a bit of flock or static grass later. Next, grabbing a mid-brown, giving the entire thing a light coating. Then, mixing together a mid to dark grey, going to paint the tarmac of the road, as well as any stones that are visible on the top side. And I then lightened up the grey a bit by mixing in a bit more white and going over the top areas of the tarmac again, as well as hit the highlights of the stones, just to give it a bit more variance in the texture and the colour. Next, grabbing a finer brush and some yellow, going to go in and put some road markings on. Now realistically these would probably be weathered to the point where they're not visible anymore, but it's a nice little detail to add. And going to go for one solid yellow line either side of the road, and one white line running down the middle of it. Which is probably not correct, but I am not a road maker. And it doesn't matter if you miss a batch, where the white line goes over the crevasse, I don't even try and fill it in, and just dab a little bit of white either side. Then, adding some white to the brown paint, going to make a tan colour, and give the entire thing a dry brush over the top. Going heavier on the turf and lighter over the road, just to give everything a nice dusting of dirt and weather. Now we just want to pick up the bits of the basing paste on the road, we don't want to cover up the grey or the markings too much. A bit's fine, but we want to keep that detail there. Then, with the sculpting tool and some PVA, we're going to gently smatter some glue around the top where we're going to have some static grass put on. And I want this to be quite sparse and patchy, and going for the kind of winter grass, which looks a bit dead anyway, because I think that will match the kind of irradiated wasteland vibe. And I think in this case, less static grass will look a lot better, but a bit just makes it a bit more lively. So, got the two radioactive monsters, but I decided it needed something extra, so I went back to the drawing board, printed out another mech based on some tweaks on my previous design, and assembled that with some dodgy cut effects. So now we're going to have a small man walking his giant robot through the apocalyptic wasteland. And to start that, we're going to need to prime it with some Vallejo black primer. Then applying a beige paint to the spiders, because I want them to be a kind of brown, almost camouflage into the wasteland type effect. So just a heavy kind of dry brush of the tan colour, and then some dabbling of a dark brown while the paint is still wet to get a bit of variance. And then they get a bright red eye, because evil, maybe? Oh, they're probably not evil, just hungry. And then the one with the larger red eye gets a bit of a effect on the front, or is dabbed on some light green paint in a ripple effect. Then going to go for a light grey and give the chassis and all the non-metallic parts of the robot a good coating. And for the minis I'm using AK Interactive paints, with the occasional P3 paint mixed in. So putting the metal on the joints and the wrists, as well as any of the accessories, and adding some red accents on the torso as well as the shoulder plates. Then, with some watered down orange paint, going to go in and dab on the metallics to give them that rusty effect. And if you put it on too thickly, just get some more water on your brush, and while it's still wet you can generally dilute it on the model, and that will fall into the recesses and look quite good. Next, getting some metallics and giving it a dry brush all over, and this will just look a lot like scratches or where the armour plates have become worn down over time. And dabbing some red on the missile tips, as well as some orange on the lenses, as well as the torso. Then, going back to the big eye spider, with some orange, just going to kind of dapple on some veins on the back of his eye, so it looks a bit more interesting. Next, grabbing our little 1/72 scale guy, who I painted off camera, because it was far too fiddly to film. and clipping off the base. And I believe this guy was originally from Redbox, but I might be wrong on that. And he's ready for a walk. Next, grabbing some light tan colour and dry brushing all over the lower half of the robot's legs, just to look like the accumulated dust and build-up, as well as drilling some holes in the bottom of his feet where I can put some kind of short lengths of paperclip inside. And be very careful if you're drilling resin, wear a mask, wear goggles, and wet wipe down your counters afterwards because you do not want to inhale resin dust at all. Then, using some more paperclip vents as some rebar for some of the rocks, just going to stick them into the styrofoam. Then, using the metal rods lined up with some holes pushed into the styrofoam base, going to apply some PVA to the feet, and that should be enough to glue the mecha onto the stand. And then we want the walker just have a little dab of PVA as well. And grab anything you can find on your desk to prop him up. Next, the model leaned forward a bit too much, was a bit too heavy for the amount of pins I put in, so I grabbed some small pieces of plasticard, just going to shape them into scrap metal, and tuck them underneath the foot so it gets propped back up in the right direction. And then put another piece to one side, just so it all ties together. Then blend them into the base, so I gave them a black prime, then a coat of dark metal, and then some dabbed rust with a brown, watered down AK paint. And I did the same for the rebar as well. And there we have it. A man taking his giant robot for a walk in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. And nothing will go wrong. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next week.